Welcome to SB Nation and the breakdown of the latest mock draft from Mocking the Draft. I'm Matt Ufford, joined by Dan Rubenstein to break it down.
Yes, let's do that. Dan Kadar always does a fantastic job. Where should we start?
How about number one?
Let's do that. Marcus Mariota, Tampa Bay. Obviously, Mariota and Jameis Winston in some order are going to be the first two quarterbacks off the board. Pick for Mariota at number one. The defense of that is there are no character issues with Marcus Mariota.
Nope.
He was as productive as a college quarterback as we've pretty much ever seen. Doesn't throw interceptions, which you do get with Jameis Winston, though he is now freed from all of the receivers at Florida State who are responsible for all of them. Every single one. None of them were his fault.
I think that we're in agreement here.
Yes.
You being an Oregon Ducks fan, me being a person with eyes, and that we think that Mariota's the better pick, the better NFL quarterback.
Yeah, he looks like he could be. Jameis Winston, obviously, with the experience in the pocket as a pro-style passer, can make more advanced throws, or at least has shown an ability to.
Has the better build to take NFL hits.
But Mariota, obviously the better athlete, who can do more things outside of the pocket. All right, what should we do next?
Let's bounce around a little bit. Number 8, the Falcons taking Dante Fowler from Florida.
Yes, the defensive end, lived in backfields during his time with the Gators, is still a little bit raw, but athletically, he's about 260. He gets around really, really well, asked to do a number of different things for Florida, so he's versatile, and as you can point to, the Falcons need pass rushing help.
The Falcons have some huge holes, but none bigger than on their defensive line.
Yes.
They had zero pass rush this past year. That'd be a huge upgrade for
Get
them.
to Drew Brees, get to Cam, do it immediately. All right,
Let's
next.
go to number 10, and the St. Louis Rams going with Brandon Scherff out of Iowa. Big offensive tackle, like most Iowans, 6'5", 320.
Yes.
What else?
He's strong. He is as strong as there is an offensive tackle in this draft. And the Rams, with Jake Long's injury, need help. We don't know who's going to be quarterback there. If it's Sam Bradford, please protect him from contact. And Brandon Scherff is versatile enough to play guard and tackle. Perhaps the strongest player in this draft. He's a very nice pick for St. Louis.
All right, I agree. Number 15, the Niners going with Kevin White out of wide receiver. Fast, big, handsy wide receiver. 6'3", 210, huge hands.
Handsy, I like that adjective for a wide receiver.
I know you like guys
Little
with big
twinkle,
hands.
yeah. Big hands. No, he's fantastic. He was in an offense, definitely on a pro-style offense at West Virginia, but he was asked to do all sorts of things, ran different routes, really good speed after the catch, really tough to bring down, could be the surest thing at receiver. As good as Amari Cooper is, he might be the best receiver in this draft.
One thing that jumps out at me watching his tape is how fluid he is. He makes cuts and comes in and out of cuts so quickly and fluidly that it doesn't even look like it's so subtle. It
does the big things, does little things, high points the ball really well. Who do we have next?
Another wide receiver at 26 going to the Ravens, Jalen Strong out of ASU.
Yes, and the Ravens, obviously, their receiving core getting older with Steve Smith there, but
this pick would hinge on what happens with Torrey Smith currently in free agency. The Ravens are renegotiating. Last I saw was a 5-year, $7 million a year. That would be a fair thing. It looks like he's going to go back to the Ravens. So the Ravens always tend to target a defensive player at the end of the first round.
Right.
So I'd be kind of surprised to see this
Difficult to imagine they'd go receiver this early, but Jalen Strong, he's not as complete as Kevin White or Amari Cooper. He's a little bit of a long strider. You want to see a little bit more quickness from a first-round receiver, but he is really talented, fights people for the ball, high points the ball really well, and wasn't asked to do a ton in the offense at Arizona State, but he was pretty much unguardable there.
And let's wrap up the discussion with the 29th pick of the draft. The Colts desperately needing some help on defense, going with the Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year, Paul Dawson at TCU.
So good, so good. As far as linebackers go, playing in that 4-2-5 TCU defense, he was asked to do a ton. Only 2 linebackers in that system. So aggressive against the run, so great laterally, sideline to sideline, fast, and in coverage, also excellent. He is complete, he is fast, he is aggressive. Really, any weakness that he may or may not have is pretty negligible. He's an all-around great linebacker.
Certainly fills a need for the Colts. Really need defensive help across the board. Vontae Davis is really their only standout player with Robert Mathis injured. But yes, they have a need at linebacker. They should fill it if he's there. Great pick for them.
Fingers crossed. Paul Dawson, great pick.
That's our review of this week's Mocking the Draft mock draft. Be sure to follow at Mocking the Draft on Twitter and check out SB Nation's mock draft every Monday morning.